Have you ever wondered what you would do if someone handed you a real time machine? Would you go back and stop history's biggest disasters? Buy Bitcoin before anyone knew it existed? Meet dinosaurs? Or maybe even see your future self? It sounds like science fiction. But here's the surprising part. According to modern physics, traveling through time may not be as impossible as you think. In fact, scientists have already proven that time can move at different speeds. So the real question isn't, can time travel happen? It's, what would happen if you actually had a time machine? Let's find out. In 1905, Albert Einstein completely changed the way we understand reality. He proposed something called the theory of relativity. According to Einstein, space and time aren't separate things. They're woven together into something scientists call space-time. Imagine stretching a giant rubber sheet across the universe. Everything, planets, stars, galaxies, and even you, exists on that sheet. And here's where things get weird. The faster you move through space, the slower you move through time. This isn't a theory waiting to be tested. It's something we've actually measured. Highly accurate atomic clocks placed on fast-moving airplanes and satellites tick slightly slower than clocks on Earth. Even astronauts aboard the International Space Station age just a tiny bit slower than people on the ground because they're moving so fast. The difference is incredibly small, but it's real. In other words, time already bends, just not enough for us to notice. Now imagine something even more extreme. Instead of traveling at hundreds of miles per hour, imagine traveling at 99.99% of the speed of light. According to Einstein's equations, time for you would slow dramatically. You might experience only 5 years during your journey, while 50 years pass back on Earth. When you finally return, everyone you knew could be decades older. Your friends might be grandparents. Your favorite places might not even exist anymore. From your perspective, you only took a short trip. To everyone else, you disappeared into the future. And here's the unbelievable part. This isn't science fiction. According to our current understanding of physics, traveling forward in time is theoretically possible through a phenomenon called time dilation. But what about traveling backward? Could you really visit ancient Egypt? See dinosaurs? Or stop a historical tragedy before it happened? That's where science enters much stranger territory. Some physicists believe that if something called a wormhole exists, it might connect two different points in space and time, almost like a shortcut through the universe. Imagine folding a piece of paper. Normally, an ant would have to crawl all the way across the paper. But if you fold the paper until both ends touch, the ant suddenly reaches the other side almost instantly. A wormhole works in a similar way. Instead of crossing billions of miles, or years, it could create a shortcut through space-time itself. The problem? We've never found a stable wormhole, and according to current theories, keeping one open may require something called negative energy, something we've never been able to produce in the amounts that would be needed. So for now, backward time travel remains an incredible possibility, but not a proven reality. Still, even if we somehow built the perfect time machine, a much bigger problem would appear. What if changing just one tiny moment completely erased the future you came from? That question leads us to one of the greatest mysteries in all of science, the grandfather paradox. Imagine traveling back in time and accidentally preventing your grandfather from ever meeting your grandmother. If they never met, your parents would never be born. And if your parents were never born, you would never exist. But if you never existed, who traveled back to change the past? It's a loop with no clear answer. Some physicists think this means the past simply can't be changed. Others believe every change creates an entirely new timeline, a parallel universe where history unfolds differently, while your original timeline continues to exist. No one knows which idea is correct. But here's something even more unsettling. What if you didn't need to change something huge? What if all it took was stepping on a single butterfly? This idea is known as the butterfly effect. In chaos theory, Tiny actions can grow into enormous consequences over time. A single missed conversation, a different decision, or one unexpected event could completely reshape history decades later. Maybe a scientist never makes an important discovery. Maybe a future president is never elected. Maybe entire civilizations change because of one tiny moment that seemed completely insignificant. If time travel ever becomes possible, the greatest danger may not be changing history on purpose. It might be changing it without even realizing it. So, would you still use a time machine? Maybe. Maybe not. Because the truth is, the greatest mystery isn't whether we can travel through time. It's whether time would ever let us come back the same. And until science finds the answer, the most powerful way to shape the future isn't by traveling through time. It's by choosing what you do today. So here's a question for you. If someone handed you a real time machine right now, would you visit the past or the future? The truth about time travel is this. Science says traveling forward in time is possible. Traveling backward remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries. And changing the past could erase everything you know. But here's what we know for certain. Time is already moving differently for different people right now. The universe is far stranger than it looks. And the greatest adventure might not require a machine at all. It might just require a curious mind. If this made you think differently about time, subscribe for more videos that challenge everything you thought you knew. Because the biggest mysteries are still waiting to be discovered.